life-changing salad. My name is Skye. I'm a raw vegan. I was sick for 32 years of my life. I have had 7 major organs removed, including my stomach, duodenum, top of intestines. I had over 60 surgeries. I was at rock bottom, mast cell activation. I was having chronic viruses. I had addiction problems by this stage, lots of trauma from being sick. And I healed myself with raw foods. But this was my go-to salad for months. And we just did another live where I made this. I've been doing this a lot because, well, I lived off it. At rock bottom, I really could not read or write that well. And so I couldn't really study what I was doing. But this was my like go-to that really did help me. So as I said when I jumped off this, I want to fix a few things up in this salad. I want to add some more dressing. I want to add some avocado. I want to add salt and pepper. And I was thinking of doing some flax oil too. So we are going to finish off where we left off. And yeah, but if you missed the first part, definitely at some stage go back and check the previous live because I make this yummy salad which saved my life. Yeah, and it makes me feel good, and I've gone back to it because I want to see just the effects it had. I felt so good when I healed. I still feel good, really, but we want to feel better, and there's got to be something to this, right? All right, so we're adding some more lemon juice. This is essentially, I can tell you what's in it. So there's a bed of greens, then I do like ribbons of carrot and zucchini, like noodles. I then do a layer of cruciferous vegetables. I did cabbage and what do they call, Brussels sprouts. Then there's a layer of herbs. While this is all going on, I marinated some tomatoes, basil, garlic, red onion and lemon. I put that on top. I put mushrooms, I put turmeric, I put paprika, I put lots of ginger. I would love to put turmeric, but I didn't have turmeric. So what % of your diet is fruit and what is veg and what is nuts and seeds? So at the moment, I would say about 30%, oh, well, I'd say 80% is fruit at the moment, but it's not sweet fruit, if that's what you mean. I've got in here avocados, capsicums, tomatoes, cucumbers, and I do have blueberries and dragon fruit as well, but not a huge amount because then I seem to go downhill. There's a lot of greens. I would then say 20%, 25% is greens. I would say then maybe at the moment 20% is vegetables. How are we going for percentages here? And a massive, I would say 80, I'm saying different percentages here, but I would say 80%, well, 75 to 80% at the moment is fruit. And then I've said 25% is greens and veggies. Well, maybe, what am I saying? 15% would have to be. So maybe fruit is 70%. 70%, 25% greens, and then seeds and nuts are, what's left? 5 to 15%. So not much. I was doing higher seeds until recently, but now I'm back doing what I usually do, which tends to happen, right? I am 44. Hey, Creative Heart. How much protein? So I was having a lot of protein. This is more lemon juice dressing that's going in to this dressing, to this salad. I did, when I broke my toe, I craved protein. Like I was literally living off sprouted and soaked lentils and sprouts. And I also got some hemp protein and peanut protein, and that helped me so much. I actually look back at photos then, I looked really good. I looked really good actually. But then usually most times I prefer fresh food. My theory is it doesn't matter whether it's fruit or vegetable, it's the fresh food. It's not anything dried, which seems to help me the most. So we put more lemon juice in. I've got another half avocado. So like yesterday, it's 1.5 avocados that will go in. I look younger than 44. Thank you. I feel younger. I do notice I age very quickly without avocado in my diet, which I did very low avocado because I was doing low histamine, but I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh. I can usually get away with like a month away from avocado, and then I look in the mirror and I just notice I age. And I hear Victoria Beckham swears that she has 4 avocados a day. She reckons that's the answer to anti-aging. I don't know, there's something about hydrated living fats, but I don't get the same effect with coconuts. I don't know. Good morning. It's actually nighttime here. So we're mashing in more. We've also got walnuts in here, pumpkin seeds, bit of hemp seeds, some flax seed, and I think I am going to drizzle in. See, now we've got the right consistency. So I've got this right now. It's 1.5 avocados. There should be a mango in here as well. But to get the consistency, which brings me joy and sticks to my fork, and it seems when I eat at this consistency, my body is just happy. I'm happy eating. Look at that. It looks absolutely amazing. Like yum, 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 yum. I'm so hungry. I've been running and swimming and coaching and doing podcasts, and it shrinks down. The weight of it shrinks down. Oh my God, this looks so good. Okay, so salt and pepper aren't in there, but I was going to do a bit of flax oil because my worry not doing enough omega-3s is that I notice how strong my hormone replacement starts to feel in my system. That's the first step before I get a mast cell flare-up. So I can feel it feeling strong in my system. Now I've had a full hysterectomy and I did 3.5 years with no well, it's not hormone replacement. It's only estrogen, and all the studies on women who have had a full hysterectomy, ovaries, fallopian tube, and uterus. I've had my cervix as well removed, and the glands are, anyway, too much information. That estrogen becomes protective. So instead of, it stops cancers, it stops bone problems, it stops nerve problems, and it stops cardiac problems. There's not any studies that are showing that it actually increases it as much as it decreases it. So I am today, I didn't do this yesterday and didn't do this when I healed myself, but I want to protect myself. So we're going to do a drizzle, maybe maybe that's 2 tablespoons of flax oil. I don't know whether I'll do this every day. I'm going with my intuition, but it is 1.5 Australian avocado, Hass avocados. Oh my God, this looks so good. Oh my gosh. So, yum. Only for women. Hello everybody. The nuts and seeds are pasteurized. Yeah, there's no life force in them. What I noticed when I healed myself was I could get up and function, probably not because of the vitamin content at the start. Of course, over time, the vitamins in the food build up and are assimilated. But I feel like I functioned because the food was alive. I feel like I was halfway out, and before I even got nutrients, it didn't matter what the food was, as long as it was fresh. Now, what the seeds and nuts came into play for, and there was a little bit of fermented food at the start, and there is a little bit of apple cider vinegar in here, is they were like what I call break in case of emergency, or the reason I could stay raw. So I could going raw, I'd quit vaping, smoking, drinking, pharmaceuticals, and junk food vegan. But essentially I was a smoker and I was drinking as well. When I could do fresh foods all day. I could do, get up, have some avocados, some celery, a little bit of fruit and celery. And then most of the day I'd have either berries, bit of watermelon, or veggies fresh all day, have my beautiful salad in the afternoon. And then at night I'd try have avocados, but half the time my spoon was stuck in a container of cashew butter. And I did that because it was better than smoking or drinking or vaping, and it kept me raw. But I really didn't feel that it was keeping me, it wasn't giving me this electricity which the raw foods I felt gave me. The only other thing I've noticed which gives me some electric feeling is salt. Is a small amount of salt seems to boost the hydration of veggies and fruit, and not too much. It's only, usually it's 4 cracks a day of salt, because I slowly got rid of nuts and seeds. But when I look back at photos, I actually looked better with nuts and seeds in my life. But as for life force, which there's just I believe it's the life force that healed me in 6 weeks. The vitamins were there, but I think it takes time for the body to repair things. Let me just put this It is. So I'll put this in a bowl so you guys can see it a little better. But this, when I was healing, I was disability payments and I only had this bowl. It was a set of bowls. I had like a set of bowls and I used chopsticks too. So to reminiscent of that, so that's 4, but I think I'm going to do a little bit more. That's about all the salt my body takes to feel energized, unless it requires sometimes a few cracks more. And some pepper. This is exactly how I made it. Have a look on the last live if you want more info on it. Stir all that in. My gosh, this looks so good, guys. Let me get a glass bowl today so you can see it. I tend to eat it in smaller bowls so I don't feel so overwhelmed. I remember that specifically. I would eat all of the salad, but I would have it in smaller bowls so I never felt so overwhelmed, because it is overwhelming when you change into this lifestyle. And I want to turn this off. Oh my gosh. All right. Got food everywhere here. I think I've got everything I need in this. Sometimes I take a mouthful and I'm like, oh, I forgot this. So we'll put this bowl here and I'll show you this salad. This has also been marinating for an hour, so it's going to be extra good today. Oh my gosh, this looks insane. When you can eat something that tastes so amazing, and the only thing missing is mango, and then you feel good, oh my gosh, you feel so, and the food is all colorful. 5 tablespoons probably doesn't matter. Thought I'd share. No, I don't think it was, because I've done this before. That's a tablespoon there, right? So no, definitely not, because I've done this a million times. I would say possibly it could go to 3, but not 5. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Going off whatever works, and that worked today. Next time I'll measure it for you guys. Chopsticks. I eat this so I eat a bit slower. Yay! Dates are superhuman food. Yeah, dates seem to go down fine as well. They didn't feel as dry, but that's because they dry out on the tree, like in a living type way. You know, it's crazy. All the vegans that are salt-free, I don't think that's healthy. I did 2 years off salt. It's the only regret I have, that I didn't listen to my body more. And it's really funny because a lot of people, I know like Lisa, she does fermented foods, and I actually feel more dehydrated after fermented foods than having controlled amounts of salt, but that works for her. So she's still getting sodium for sure. If you're having miso, and so they are. Not that there's anything wrong with it, whatever works for you, but I think you need sodium is what I'm saying. Thanks, Creative Heart, for deleting all these messages. Okay. Oh my gosh. It's so good. I really do though wish, can't wait for mango to be in. It's like the only thing that's missing. I might put a couple dates in today. It needs a little sweetness, this salad. Let's put a couple dates in. We love dates. I was saying yesterday, one of the greatest, someone said you don't have sugar, and I was like, well, and this date, look how soft it is. And this date is like, it's not new. It would have been a lot better when it was new. So let's chop this up a bit. Yeah, mango in this salad is like key. And tomorrow I'm going to go to Pilates. I will try grab some, but Makes it even stickier. That's the idea. It makes it like this sticky salad. Dates is good in it. That's perfected that today. Though it tasted fine yesterday. I think each day we like different things in different salads, right? I think my body likes me to not put everything in. Sorry, just one thing in. I think I become allergic to things too quickly. I need to feed my microbiome. Oh, it's so good. There's so much flavor in there. I think I just got walnuts, pumpkin seed, a bit of date, and then you got the apple cider vinegar, avocado, herbs, onion. There's so much in here. I think I was like, my brain is so addictive and ADHD. I'm like, how am I going to stay on this lifestyle? I'm like, put every flavor you can think of in one bowl. It works. Yum. Dates are nutritious and healthy food choice backed with fiber and vitamins and minerals. They offer various health benefits, including aiding digestion and promoting heart health. And that sounds like it's from ChatGTP, but you're right. Primarily improving brain function. I think anything in its whole form literally lights up a body. You get so many benefits eating fresh foods. So good. It's what we want. Lots of fresh food, guys. I'm inspiring you, hopefully, to eat fresh. That's a bit better, I think. Maybe I'll lean forward a little bit more. I think the turmeric must do something. There's got to be a reason I love turmeric so much. Well, do you only have one meal a day? Sort of. So how, and I'm missing my stomach, remember? I find it best, the best way I've done this is the less I eat during the day, the better I all around feel. I can eat essentially after 11 a.m. 1 p.m. is a great time today. I'm not getting to my meal until this afternoon. Mondays are just busy for me. I have a tendency to wake up, have water, have a juice, green juice, like celery, cucumber today. Sometimes it's got green apple in it. Then I'll have a matcha. I'll have more green juice. Then at about 11, I usually make this salad and start eating it. Okay? But that can change on a busy day. So there's lots of salad left. But I finished it. Like yesterday, I ate all of this on camera. I will eat like one meal. So then after being on camera last night, I got off and had blueberries and dragon fruit about 2 hours later. But it seems even with no stomach, my body only wants to eat during a small window. If I start eating in the morning, all I do is like block everything up and feel so uncomfortable. And I usually get really distressed because when my stomach is full, it just is like, it's too much. Is maybe I just eat too much. I don't know, I need to limit my time. So I find doing that, I feel my best. The more fresh food I have, the better I feel. You're welcome. Bye, Sophia. Have a good night's sleep. So yeah, this is I want to encourage people to put the more fresh stuff to get flavor going in. because it makes you feel electric. And like I always say, start with flavors you like. Like if you like, I was saying yesterday, I started with avocado, mango, chili, and lime, I think, in a salad with lettuce, because that's one of my favorite salad combinations. Don't go, oh no, I couldn't eat salad every day. Well, if you had to, because it makes you feel amazing, what would it look like? What would be something that you wouldn't get sick of if you ate whatever you wanted all day but a salad at night? Hey, Ak. I think that's what it says there. I can hear that crunch. It is crunchy. That's really satisfying as well. It's a satisfying salad. There's like so much going on here. And these chopsticks make me eat slow. Which I need. That doesn't make me feel good when I eat too fast. That sweet aspect from the dates is perfect. Red cabbage, mango, avocado, tomatoes, lime, some salt. Oh my God, see, that's insane. And when you appreciate that, I just picked up a big piece of ginger and red cabbage in here. So I want to talk, so I don't eat, I thought that too about the glucose thing, but all I did, and all other people here have found when they eat all fruits, is I just put on weight and I feel sluggish because I think I'm supposed to eat all day. I just eat a salad. It takes a while to adjust because you're literally feeding yourself glucose non-stop. People, I think, become raw vegan and get obsessed with glucose, but forget balance, baby, balance. Have some glucose, have some greens, have some veggies, have some nuts, and have some seeds. And feel balanced. Like I feel so balanced now. Before I was just freaking nuts with candida and a swollen belly. The whole time I ate fruit, I had this big belly. Now, flat. So maybe some people just have candida, but I think a really important thing is we support each other no matter what somebody does. No matter what anybody does, if they're trying to look after themselves and it feels good. A lot of people say, who even eat fruit, fruit's so addictive. I find the only time I've ended up in tears of overeating and thinking, why can't I stop, has been fruit. And then I'm blocked up, I have this massive belly and I'm like, why did I do that? I feel so amazing like this. I've never cried after a salad, but you can't sit there and eat. I feel like this is really dense with nutrients. Fruit is really dense with sugar. So you're going just off sugar. But for me to look young, I can't live off fruit. Here. Does the avocado give you energy? Well, yeah, I just went for a run and I did a swim. So yeah, so let's look at me on, I did this before. If fruit's so good, just go out and promote it. Like, be it. You don't have to talk about it. That's what I say is, if something works, promote what it does. You don't have to talk me into it. Show me all the photos of what you do and let people make their own mind up. If fruit works for you, go for it. Doesn't work for me, I'll show you a photo. My God, I had blood sugar issues on my blood tests and low sodium. And here. There. That was me on fruit with low iron, low sodium, and high blood sugar. And I had to stop and do greens and I lost all the weight, grew back, though my hair is now dyed blonde. But anyway, that's me. It's, I actually, like, and the other thing I had to realize is everybody that I like physique or like I think it looks, that I aspire to be, that's a bit older, so they're in their 50s or 60s, does not eat copious amounts of fruit. So every person that I admire who is a raw foodist, that's in their 50s, 60s, and but yeah, this works for me. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm running Pilates. I was swimming in the ocean today. I did 2 podcasts, 2 lives. I had 5 clients. You tell me who's got energy. So, yeah. For me, I don't know about white tongue, but white tongue can, my belly, it was like, it was crazy. So sometimes I think this is what I promote. I don't necessarily promote salad. I don't necessarily promote fruit. What I promote is balance. I just feel like if I stop one area of like nutrition, I really suffer. I can really suffer. Hey. I could not work that much. Lives are exhausting. I think I find it like relaxing. I don't know. This more so relaxing because I don't have anything now after it. But yeah, these chopsticks are really slowing me down, which is good. Did you get an official test for your candida? No. There was no official test. I just had this constant belly, I was swollen up here when I ate fruit, like it would not go through. But down here, this part was like here. It was like sitting around like this all the time. Like I had SIBO, and then I don't have that anymore. But I don't necessarily think it was salad. I think I needed to give my body balance. Like, you can't just give it like fuel. You have to also give it some fat, and you have to also give it some amino acids, and make sure you're getting a variety of vitamins, because on fruit I was getting allergic to so much of it. I was getting limited to just eating grapes, watermelon, what else? It was getting limiting. It is very common. I think those people who end up eating more like savory, like Lisa, when you hear their story, they were always drawn to savory. And I think it's because some people have that, like, because she talks about having that candida. I think some people are just prone to it. I swear that's all I see you do is eat. Oh yeah. No, I've only eaten twice on here. Oh, sometimes when I do reels, I show me taking a bite of food. It's pretty funny, you know. I don't even have a stomach. Okay, do you get tired of eating veggies? Seriously? Veggies are the one thing I could always eat. But even before I was vegan, I love veggies. Like, love them. But if I do need something comforting, I make one of my recipes. Like, you know, I make something where you're not really thinking about it. Like, you know, my mushroom stroganoff, which kind of looks like beef, or I've made popcorn chicken, raw vegan, pizzas, like raw chef yins, cashew chicken. But most of the time I want to eat color. I get sad when I don't see color in my food. Yeah, we're really on struggle street now. Trying to pick this up. I am Sydney. Do you have a colostomy? No. So I had the top portion of my GI tract removed. So I had the stomach, duodenum, and top of intestines. Most people with a colostomy bag have the lower part resected. Oh, I'm so glad my voice is soothing. I thought I had a chunk on my face then. Looks delicious. Where do I get the recipe? I'm going to write it up for you guys because this is like the recipe. This is the salad that saved my life. So I will actually, after this live, write it up. I said I would do that yesterday and I didn't. So I actually feel like I need a little bit more salt, but I wonder if that's because I ran today. I don't know. Either way. I actually think how I was overeating on fruit was because I wasn't having any salt. And because of that, I was trying to get what I needed from something which didn't have very much of it. And then most of it's liquid, so you're peeing that out, which takes more salt. So then you need to eat more. I could be wrong. I want to hear about your wild sky adventures when you were on television. You mentioned a bit yesterday when I was on television. Do you mean when I went missing? Was that when I went, do you talk about when I went missing? Which isn't really funny because I'd just been out at a neurological hospital. Hey, I've dealt with Crohn's since middle school. Oh, 4 surgeries and 35 years later, I'm still here. I'm glad you're still here. I really am. That's amazing. I hope you don't need to have any more surgeries. Yes, okay, so how you can Google it. You will find that the SES, the police, everyone was looking for me, my family. I had, at this stage, been sick most of my life. So I'd been sick since I was 8 till I was like, I think 10 or 11. Then I got well for about 4 or 5 years. Then from 16 up until when I was 37, I was either, I could do things at the start, but I'd always end up back in bed. And then eventually for 15 years straight, I was basically in a bed. And then they thought I wasn't going to make it. Had a lot of surgeries, was in hospital, seeing specialists. Another thing after another thing went wrong. Had my stomach removed, had a full hysterectomy, glands removed, ligaments removed, had bowel problems, had to have surgeries for that. There was all a mess that they had to fix there. And then I dissociated, and I was speaking before about how horrible my situation was when I was put in. The first experience of life was a psychiatric unit where they took away, I came off just about all the medications they'd put me on, but the few that I had left, which many people who are psych patients will know, you titrate, even psychiatrists say that, except if you dissociate, they decide in your care that they will take everything off you. So the little bearing I had on reality left, they stripped away, including my hormone replacement. And they gave me things like Risperidol and Epilum, which my brain, I don't know how I survived this. I remember one part of it. I mean, as I said, I hallucinating so much, I literally thought for almost, I think, 2 weeks, I was burning alive. Like I could feel it all, I could see it all. And my bones were breaking because they took me off the rest of the opioids. And I thought I was seeing x-rays of me, my bones breaking. It was absolutely like worse than losing my stomach, worse than having a hysterectomy, worse than the worst thing I thought that could ever happen is when you actually are trapped in like a different reality and you feel things which aren't happening, which the psych drugs I think have a huge part. A lot of psychiatrists say that the hardest drug to come off is an SSRI. They see homicides often because you don't sleep on top of it. No, anyway. I came through that. I came off all the medication they put me on and just had my hormone replacement. I still didn't have a lot of my memory. I worked for my brother-in-law as a receptionist. I did the gym. I was on a paleo diet. I had an occasional wine, but then I stopped that. I was just having tea. Like I was doing the fear that place put in me, I was going to do everything and anything not to ever go through what I went through in that stage. Isn't it funny? I was traumatized for years, and then they think getting you well through trauma. So I'm well this year, and my goal is to become a naturopath. So I'm working for my brother-in-law, but what I worked out, I started to try and study, and I couldn't remember anything. And I was someone who went to university, studied psychology. Like when I was at my sickest, my brain used to work really well, but I think whatever part locked off to forget about my past took away my concentration and my ability to recall things. So I got really distressed. I not locked myself, but I was running at the time, going to the gym, eating this paleo diet with lots of veggies, nuts, seeds, and a meat dish, I think, at night. And then I would spend my free time trying to remember one paragraph of this naturopathic course. Anyway, I didn't remember it, but anyway, I ended up with shingles through the eye just after Christmas. So this is 2008, 2017 at the end of it is when I was thrown in a psych unit where I hadn't been talking. I was dissociated and they'd ask me questions. I couldn't remember things. And then, so this 1 year I did paleo. So before this, I've always been sick. So we're leading up to how I went missing. So I'd always been sick. So I got shingles through the eye. I went to Singapore with my family. And then on the last day of Singapore, when we're about to leave, I couldn't get up. I just couldn't stand up. And when I got up, I would just start dry reaching and vomiting. And then I just collapse back down. But technically, I still had shingles at this time. I had like all dots all through here. They missed the eye. I was in an eye hospital, but they didn't get in the eye. Then after that, I got back, but I kept not being able to get back and getting tremors in my body and having these like seizures. And I went to all different people and they're like, it's trauma, it's this. And I'm like, I've been sick in my life. What is going on now? Like what the, and I'm trapped in my body. It's like locked in syndrome where I'm reliving my past now and having like these tremors, and I'd lose my voice and then I'd start screaming out loud. Then I couldn't talk for a week. And then there was like 2 weeks where I was staring at a wall. Anyway, then I had to go to a neurological hospital because I couldn't do anything, right? And literally it took every act in my body, but it wasn't like normal movement where you have flow and you're like, you know, I danced when I was little. It was like this robotic, like getting yourself up and standing up, and then I was up, and then I had to learn to butter toast. And the nerve pain in my body everywhere. And this went on for 10 weeks, I think I was in this neurological hospital, where most days I could not stand up, okay? So then I had full-time carers. I couldn't even get to the bathroom some days, and my parents went away, who were pretty much my full-time carers, unless someone else came in. So my auntie came and looked after me. But mind you, people are seeing me not move, but in my head, I'm locked in and reliving things I didn't even know happened to me. And with that, I then, so I didn't really see my nieces because they were very little then, and they meant the world to me. It was their school holidays, and they were going up to my sister's partner's mother's ranch up in the Hunter Valley. And it's about an hour's drive. And I literally, if I left the house, I'd start shaking. I could do things, but then I'd just collapse in a heap. So I went up to her place and my nieces were there. It was around Easter time, 2019. And for whatever reason, I didn't see eye to eye with his mother-in-law, and she's yelling at me. And I was at the stage where I didn't even believe I was sick anymore. How does a girl be sick their entire life, get well for a year, and now she's debilitated with a brand new illness? Like in my head, I'm like, I think I'm crazy. Like what is going on? Like you cannot have all these surgeries, Sky. You went through so much to get well, and now you're laying here like a vegetable and you can only get up for a few minutes. So I ran out the door. Like I hadn't run in ages. I ran out the door with every strength I had and then collapsed in the forest, in the bush. It's in the middle of the bush. So then I, in my head, think everyone is happy that I'm gone. Like in my Delulu land, I am literally like, everyone must be so happy I'm now gone. All I do is, and I'm just a burden. I need to be cared for, changed, looked after. But I can't really move very far because I have this FND. So I can do something and then I either have a seizure or I can't move again for ages. And then I remember seeing the SES workers, all these lights looking for me. And I was actually paranoid. I'm like, something bad is going to happen. I can't be around these people. I just want to be alone. So I went deeper and deeper into the woods. So I was gone for like 2 days. But I then slept in a bin because it was so cold. Like it was Easter, but we're not. So we're getting down at night to say like 6 degrees in the Hunter Valley. And I am already with this FND where I'm in pain. It was so agonizing. But I couldn't talk to people properly. It was like being if you suffered from FND, it's just horrible. I mean, I've been through so much horrendous. I'm like, how is this even happening? So I slept in a bin. But then I almost got thrown in a compactor and died that way. So then I fell asleep in this bin, but I'd be awake. Like, it's weird. Anyway, then the claw comes out to pick up the bin, and I flung the top open, and I'm like, no. And then I get yelled at by the bin people. I'm covered in compost and trash. And then I was in so much pain. I was like basically a house and not next to each other houses. We're talking about a countryside. So there's a house, and to walk to the next house felt like 20 miles for me with FND. So I just kept hiding in the bush until the sun came up on the third day, and a man drove past, and I think there was alerts out for me in that area. He pulled over, said, you must be the missing girl. And I thought, well, who's going to report me missing? I'm still thinking like everyone wants me gone. Then my sister comes driving up, absolute hysterically crying. And I'm like, the first thing I said is, I didn't think you wanted me anymore. Like, I can't be sick anymore. Then they took me into the hospital up there, Newcastle Hospital. And all my girlfriends had come up to that area to search. Everyone was searching the bushes for me. But they gave me a shower, but then I was scheduled. But I couldn't get up with this FND. Then that psych hospital is then they brought me back down to the original psych hospital. This is the stint where I did 10 months in a psych hospital. But most days I just lay there like a vegetable. And then this is where I come out the other side of that, and I still can't get up. So they put me back on the ADHD medication to bring me some alertness. I haven't read any of these comments because if I lose my distraction, I can go back through them. I will lose what I'm saying. So then they put me back on the ADHD medication and an SSRI. Now what that did is click back finally into part of my brain which I wasn't accessing because I used to be on them. It definitely did not heal me, but it allowed me to do something. And then that's when they let me go home. And then I get back to mum and dad's, and on Friday nights, like, dad has a glass of wine with dinner. This is how I became an alcoholic. Not that he didn't do anything wrong, he's always done that. I've been in pain for years, never had alcohol. I've had boyfriends and parties at my house, like, not my party, my sister would have a party, and I would have Pepsi. Alcohol wasn't my tea, per se. But then I noticed that all the PTSD slowed. So this constant overlay of reliving things while I'm staring at a wall, I'm reliving all of these things I didn't even know my memory had in them. Most of them were like, a lot of them were the hospital, and a lot of them were being surgeries and being awake in surgery. It was just horrible. And then this alcohol slowed them. So I had this concoction going on of alcohol, stimulants, and SSRIs that was definitely not giving me life, but was keeping me, like, I was able to game a bit on the computer. Only when I was on the stimulant medication, as soon as it wore off, back into FND, whatever. Anyway, and so I had 2 psychiatrists and a psychologist at this time, and they weren't bothered because I was only drinking about a bottle of wine a day, which isn't unusual. Like, it's not like a lot of people come home from work and have a bottle of wine. It wasn't, I did sometimes top that up with some vodka, but I don't know, they knew how much trauma I'd been through, I guess. Anyway, then I collapsed really badly and banged my head, and they did some blood tests, and my blood work this is only 3 months of having a bottle of wine a day after everything I'd been through. My liver was failing. My blood work was terrible. My body was already not making protein, so when I banged into things, my body wasn't repairing. I was being vegan this whole time, so I went vegan when I had the FND. I didn't want to eat any animals. It was part of this awakening, right? And then that's how I ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks because my liver was so damaged. And then mum and dad, now if people always ask, why did your parents, why did you become homeless? Because that's what happens after. Like, I'm at home taking alcohol off them. To me, I wasn't getting anywhere. So this is where I can't come home. I tried to go to rehab, but I was having too many seizures. Yes, my liver fully repaired 2 years on a raw diet by a blood test. I just saw that come up. And so we're getting to how this salad came about, right? There's still much of a journey to go. So then, because I'm having seizures, I remember going outside to try and get some air because the hospital said, you're not having seizures now, go out and sit in the waiting room in the middle of the night. I went out to get some fresh air, And then the security guard, who I knew from the psych hospital, this is crazy, the psych hospital up in Sutherland, up near me, recognized me, and he's like, get off the premises. And so I just started sleeping out the front of a hospital, hugging a freaking air conditioning vent, because the air conditioning vents that come off are the only warm thing. And then my brother-in-law helped me get a hotel, which I then apparently walked into the wrong room and they called the police on, so I'm back in a psych unit. But at this point, I said to them, every time you give me the medication, I get sicker. I'm happy to stay in this acute psychiatric unit, but can you please stop giving me the medications? Do you know how many patients they stopped giving medications to? None. But she said, okay. She stopped giving it and I did better. Okay, so I'm still in hospital, I'm still vegan. Then I came out and I was stayed in a hotel again. I couldn't go home. My parents didn't talk to me at this stage. So I'm literally beyond rock bottom. I went from a private schoolgirl who lived near the water, who had a boat from 10 years old, who had every private health top doctor, to like everyone had disowned me. Then I hardly could even get back into the hotel some days. Like I could not remember my name some days. These FNDs, psychiatric problems, whatever it was just like a huge going on in my brain. And nothing was going on in my brain. It was like, I don't know how I didn't walk in front of a car. I think I had. I don't know what was going on. But my brother, no, I don't know who it was. Someone helped me get my own place, okay? And I'm vegan. And I am like at this stage of vegan, I was ordering Uber Eats when I was in hotel rooms. Then I'd stay outside and not eat for days. Anyway, so I'm in a hotel room, I'm in my own first apartment. And I think when you get your own first place, I never lived alone, you kind of have some care. I was very grateful for a roof over my head at this stage. I had all donated furniture and donated clothes, and well, the clothes are probably mine from when I was like 20 something. And then, so I boiled a few vegetables and stuff with some coconut oil or some ginger or turmeric or something, and I'd eat it, go back to bed, wouldn't eat again for days. And then I'd get hungry, so all I'd do would be roll over and grab a carrot or celery at this stage. I did notice that I was drawn to like fresher foods. When I think it had been a couple of days eating just veggies, I don't even think there was fruit. Maybe there was like sauerkraut and stuff. I would be up and I'm like, I can hang the washing out, like a clear thought. And then I would go, I'd go and feel better. So I'd make myself some like dry roasted pumpkin and tomato and garlic and basil. We'll set it out beautifully. I've got photos of it. I'm going to pull the photos out and show you guys of me getting well. And then I'd go back to bed. I could not get up. And so I'm like, okay, I would eat the carrots and stuff again because I'd be in bed, carrots and celery or whatever. And then I would boil some, it was so simple because I wasn't very well, cauliflower, some salt, pepper, and ginger maybe, and then I'd be back in bed. So I was like, okay, Sky, there is something to it. And I think I used my phone. I couldn't do much on it, but I could get on Instagram and look. And there were people called raw vegans. We had all these pictures. Let me just cut this up. And I was like, okay, I can do this. So I would order a whole lot of food, which I was drawn to through Uber Eats, because this was during COVID. And not Uber Eats, Woolworths would deliver. And they delivered the food, and I put it together like this because it was like, for me, this was getting fancy. We're talking about boiled, we're talking about carrots and celery and boiled cauliflower and dry roasted pumpkin. I'm like out eating like this because I had to do this because I knew something was happening with the raw foods. I had to stay raw, and I knew I wouldn't unless I treated myself. So that's my story. It was, you know, it was shocking and scary to be homeless, but after what you've heard me tell you, nothing surprised me anymore. Like, I'm like, where does this Alice in Wonderland show end? Like, you'd think it's enough to have been through the 20 years, is it 20 years? Yeah, from when I was 16 to 36 of 60 surgeries, having 7 major organs. I think it's 9 major organs removed. And then they throw me in that psych unit. But I'm already in shock. Then I think as my memory came back, the FND came up and the shingles had come. Anyway, you've heard this story, but nothing anymore. Like, it was just like, where does this freak show of hell end? And so now you get why I stay raw. Like, raw is easy. What was not easy was that psychiatric trauma part of my journey. Yeah, it's surprising you remember it all. I think I only remember the story that's told, because also just know there's like some moments where, like, I don't remember much of it, but then there's like key things that are so vivid. But I don't actually remember a lot of my... It's actually interesting you say that, because I don't remember a lot of what happened to me between the ages of 16 and 36. But I do remember that freaking wild. Like, I am like, am I actually still on earth? Like, how is, like, I'm not able to even advocate for myself. I don't stop talking now. This was always me, right? I couldn't say a word. And I'm listening to these psych... Oh, I don't know. It was like being in freaking Looney Tunes world, and knowing it, knowing that everyone's looking at me like I'm a crazy woman, knowing that I can't do anything about it. The difference between raw and vegan is cooked, right? Yeah, sorry. So I think I shortened them. But raw vegan is not cooking it. Like, the difference is like freaking being in Looney Tunes world with pain and that no medication works for anymore, with more diseases by the day. Every time they took my blood, there was a new problem. Every time they did a blood test, they're like, did you know your body stopped making this? This happened all the time. And then all of a sudden, within 1 year, I healed everything on my blood test, which was, well, I stopped at hormones, so my hormones didn't. So my body started making proteins. All the liver markers were going, they were the last to go. It took another year for my liver to fully repair. 2 years for that. My anemia was gone. My B12 stabilized. Every vitamin or whatever they looked at, there was just like, you used to pull up my blood test and like in psych units, it would come back and there was just asterisks all next to all of it. And it comes back now. And when it came back after 2 years, my everything was perfect and my vitamin D was so high. They're like, oh, so you're on a supplement. I'm like, I don't take supplements. I don't take anything made by doctors who can put me in bloody psych units. Yeah, your story should be the poster for raw vegan. It's like, in 6 weeks I had no problem. Sure, my memories come back over time and it took a while for my blood test to come up, but I had a blood test at like, I think 2 months in or something, or 6 weeks in, and for the first time everything was rising. It was like, so that's why when people come to say they have psychiatric issues, I'm like, this is the way. Yeah, these things happened after I'd had the surgeries. So I barely remember that time. I was medicated a lot, but even so, there were years where I wasn't, and I don't really remember it all. I was either in bed, so they used to give me biofeedback to try and get me to manage the pain, like calm your nerves, relax the muscles. I'm going to use these for women giving birth. And the pain that I was in was greater than a woman giving birth. From the age of 19, they started these. I couldn't get a start reading. I was in so much pain. I was on oxycodone 500 milligrams in the morning. Now, if you break your leg, they give you 5 to 10 milligrams. I was on 500 in the morning, 500 at night, a patch of fentanyl of 170. Plus, they had to change these sooner and give me the oxycodone every 10 hours, not 12 hours, because my body metabolized it so fast. My breakthrough of someone's breakthrough is usually 5 milligrams. Mine was 60 milligrams every 4 hours. I was on Valium. I was on SSRIs, not for depression, but for pain. I was on stimulant medication for ADHD. I was on stomach medication, hormone medication. I was put in cardiac units and put on ketamine for the pain. Botox in the spine, local anesthetic in the spine for pain. That part is like a blur. But I obviously remember because then I think I'm out of pain and my body finally processes things and it's just too much. And you can see what happened to me. But I go backwards when I have too much dried food. Like I would not be able to survive without raw food. I don't think anybody understands what happens to, as soon as I had even like a coffee recently, and I've tried sugar in a matcha, it makes me feel like I used to feel, and all the PTSD comes back. Yes, the doctors were really shook about my blood test normalizing, especially the anemia, because I'm missing the part of my stomach which absorbs iron. So I was on a paleo diet with like meat at night, fruit, veg, nuts, and I needed 4 or 5 infusions a year. That, yeah. Yeah, 25 milligrams. See, it's so rare, but chronic pain. So I didn't start on 500. Over time, so those 80 tablets, 80 milligram tablets, 5 of them in the morning. Sometimes I'd pop extras during the day to help me through. It was like nothing. But then once they gave me the hysterectomy, all that pain medication was like being in a dark fog. I was like, get rid of it. And then every time I came off it, I'd be vomiting, shaking, trembling, because I was already so skinny from losing my stomach, from being through so much trauma. My body couldn't take anymore. But yeah, I was waking up 5 of those green OxyContins, 5 at night, and then at OxyNorm. The detox of those is brutal. So I constantly came down for 5 years. And then this is how I ended up. Now you get it, Creative Heart, where they took the last 20, I can't remember what it was. I think I was still 20 in the morning, 20 or 40 in the morning of Oxy, 20 and 40 at night. Still, I think 25 or 20 breakthrough during the day, Valium, SSRI, stimulant, and a fentanyl patch of like 20 or 40. And they took all that off me at once when I was 37 kilos and I never left a bedroom, and put on me Epilim and Respiridol and something else, and that's when I was burning alive with my bones breaking. And so that's what, now it's going to make sense that that's what I experienced, because the come down off, yeah, it's horrible. This makes my heart race. Oh. Now ask what caused the surgeries in the beginning. Yes, you can ask. So I ended up with the chronic pelvic pain from 16. And no one knew what it was. They were just trying to manage the pain. They're like, look, we've been inside, quite a few surgeries were just exploratory. Some they took glands out, some they cauterized inside, some they took nerves, some they put in IUDs, some then they knocked me out again to take out the IUD. Then they decided to put it back in, knock me out again. Then, where was I going with this? Okay, so I had just about given up at 19. Right? No. I just about given up at 22. I was like, how can somebody have so much surgery and still be in so much pain, and the pain getting worse? And then a top neurogyno who just does surgeries went in and found on my uteral sacral ligament a second piece of uterus. And it was, so it's congenital. I was born with a second piece of uterus. They called it endostromatosis. Endo being inside the body, stroma being meat or organ in wrong place. Well, in this case, it was in the wrong place, and osis made it a disease. And he took it out, and the pain, I woke up from that surgery and I was like, oh, my pain is gone, completely gone. I carried the photo, there was a few tumors in there as well. I carried the photo with me for, I reckon, 4 months. I couldn't believe that this is what caused it all. And I felt like such a fraud. No one believed me. No one in my family helped pay for a lot of it. But I was just, it was like I was a hypochondriac. And so I carried it with me, and I started working for actually one of Australia's top designers. And I loved the work, but then the pain came back. And I was back on SSRIs, which helped with the pain, anti-inflammatory medication, and this is where I lost my stomach. But after I lost my stomach, the pain in my back came back, and a neurosurgeon went back in. He didn't want to. He's like, you've been through enough surgeries. Sometimes surgeries make it worse. I said, you have to go back in because you fixed it last time. And he went back in, and he said he made a surgical error, and because he'd never seen that disease before. And what had happened was, they took out more that they'd left, but leaving the wound open, all of those cells, these uterine cells, had spread onto my bladder, my bowel, and my uterus. And so what was causing more pain now was my cycle, because this disease had spread everywhere into the lower cavities, And so when I had my cycle, it was now everything was cramping. This is when I ended up on a walking stick. So they tried to take the rest out, but it had spread all over the lower case of my body. These like uterus cells, which were reacting to hormones. And apparently because I had it since I was born, I would have had excess estrogen receptors, which means my sensitivity to pain is like off the charts. So that was the disease that started it all. But the hysterectomy at 30 ceased the pain in the pelvis. So let me see. Yes, detox, opioids, benzos are the worst. I had heard, no wonder you felt like that. Damn, you've been through so much. I actually think SSRIs are even worse. I think though I'm really sensitive to drugs which are called non-addictive drugs. That's why I was on all the addictive drugs. And I think it's because the addictive drugs are familiar to the human body. When you have all of these gabapentin, now they're saying that's if you're on it for more than 2 years, it causes dementia. Of course it does. I couldn't stand on just a few milligrams of it because my body's like, what the fuck is this? Like, at least give me something that the body recognizes. But the SSRI was the only non-addictive drug that I was on that actually for pain that actually it held its own for years. In truth, but coming off that is brutal. Say no to drugs always. I don't think I had a choice. My grandfather told me he never let anyone cut you open. You're never the same after, and you're often worse than before. True, but I think I was in a, I don't know, it's done now. It's part of my journey. I have PCOS and I'm not getting much help. I believe I have to do my own self-healing because I'm not getting very much from the doctors. I believe if I had found this lifestyle back then, I wouldn't need any surgeries. If you have if you have any issues, I would just start. And I think now, I feel like when I came off all the medications is when they started to be like, now we used to buy codeine in Australia from the chemist. Like you just walk in and say, pack of 20 pills of codeine. Now you get, you're only allowed to take 10 of paracetamol. They do not. You have to get a script for codeine now. But they started really cracking down when I had come off everything, which is probably perfect timing. But I find that people in pain don't get the same amount of help. Plus, know that I was from a situation where I feel like I had access to top doctor after top doctor after top surgeon after no one, and I was screaming. Like, I mean, I don't think I ever cried. I would be screaming in pain. When it came on, it was just unbearable. But I'm sorry you're not getting help. If I had any problem, I would get onto this lifestyle. Yeah, it's with diet. Yeah, the amount of people I see now with this FND type thing where they go hoarse in the throat, they feel anxious. I think it's just a different expression of histamines and trauma, which essentially histamines are inflammation. But if you hear my story, is they cut off an arm and now the leg is the problem. Like I know, they cut out the disease and now, I've got a psychiatric problem. Or when I was younger, what else? I had my stomach cut out and it was no matter where they chop, it's like the body is going to dump toxins is what I feel like. I believe some surgeries are necessary. I believe if you look after yourself and you eat good food and you exercise and you can get stagnant nodes that just don't go, and a good surgeon will remove it and your life will be so much better. I had to accept, there was a reason I did only fruit and no salt. And I think that was because I was so traumatized. I didn't want any connection to doctors. But in saying that, I had to make peace. And other raw vegans on their journey, or fellow partners on their journey, have had to make peace with they have a place. I break a toe, I need x-ray, and I'm in a position. I was like, doctors have a place. But you have to do everything you can. Don't think they're going to fix a lifestyle disease. Like, they're not going to fix anxiety, depression, overweight, blood sugar issues. Emergencies, they will. But if you've got a long-standing illness, you have to predominantly look after it yourself. That's what I believe. Is there anything as eating too much salad? I haven't seen it. If there is, take a break and eat too much fruit. I'd rather eat too much salad than anything else. I had sciatica from the... Sciatica is horrid. I'm afraid to get surgery, but I also don't want to be on steroids my whole life. I feel silly even complaining after listening to you. Don't feel silly. I feel like I share my story so we can talk about all this stuff that people go through. So you don't have to end up like me. If I had any pain in my body, I would get onto this sort of diet, plant-based, raw food diet. When you get raw, you're not in pain. It's impossible. I feel like it's impossible on lots of fresh food to have pain. And then if you're still needing the surgery, go for it. But make sure you're doing everything you can, because what you'll find with pain and nerves, and especially if, depending how old you are, they may do this surgery and then you find something else comes up. It just never ends until you actually, I feel like, embrace the journey. Like it's like life is just pushing you always to embrace the health journey, and you can fix one thing, but essentially usually it comes up somewhere else. Thank you. They need to be redone. Oh my God, look at that one. How many pounds of fruit and veg or nuts do you eat in a day? I don't know, whatever I need. I really don't know. So I was probably eating, like when I was doing the more high cruciferous, I was probably doing like 1 to 2 pounds of veggies a day with maybe a pound of fruit. Seeds at the time, I was doing like 1/2 cup to 1 cup of chia. Now you're seeing what I eat. So whatever's in this bowl, I will have celery juice and cucumber juice in the morning, and then I may have fruit for dessert, so maybe like 1/2 kilo of fruit. But it's always changing what my body needs. And when you embrace that, I feel like we can do really well. Like when you know that, don't worry about what others have, but have whatever you need. It's fresh. It's going to be good for you. Okay, I want to talk on this. So I tried going vegan, but it made my man thing not work at all. As soon as I started eating chicken and salmon, it worked again. Okay. When you have meat, you get stimulating hormones in it, not just that are injected, even free range. When they're killed, you get a massive surge of adrenaline or androgens, okay? So you have no idea how stimulating it is. So what you do by going vegan is you actually learn to become in sync with your body, but you have a come down off that. One thing I learned, so I was in hospital as a vegan, and some of my mashed potato mixed one day because someone said, I've got my leftover veggies, do you want them, Sky? I ate the veggies, but they had meat next to it, and they thought they'd separate it. Some of the meat juice came along. Now, I'd probably been vegan about 9-10 months at this stage. I lit up, not sexually here. It was like my whole system lit up by having, I was like, what? I couldn't believe how intense it was. But a lot of men say as they heal, they get their natural flow back. They're not supposed to be getting it on or being aroused by every person that walks past. There's a reason it's make love, right? So that's something to think about. So when you say it doesn't work, what do you mean? I don't know what that means. No, I'm not a man. Like, I know what it means. But do you know what I'm saying? Is a lot of men say they find their purpose in life, and it's what they want it for is more intense for what their purpose is, for what its purpose is. Like, when they meet somebody that they truly love and they want to connect with, and now they're not overstimulated and being excited multiple times a day. So half the time they are how to fix diseases anyway. Look at all the autoimmune. Yeah, doctors are not going to fix POTS, autoimmune, any of those. Anything which is like a lifestyle that's occurred, and I know people think autoimmune isn't, but essentially, I bet anybody with an autoimmune disease before that has had warning signs, like whether it's a bit of brain fog, whether it's a bit of constipation, and all those things we need to look after before they start to manifest into like lifestyle diseases. So I've switched to a healthier diet. I even do yoga. Good for you. It's funny because I'm a cowboy. Good for you. Cowboys need to do yoga. That's a funny image. But good for you. Are you eating meat or chicken? No, I'm vegan. Veganism helps blood flow. It sure does. It helps everything. I feel like it connects me to the universe, especially raw foods. Like I'm so connected to the universe and I love that. I'm so grateful that because I was alone and the only thing I felt connected to so strongly when I got, before even raw foods, was the sun and the moon. So when I was in that psych situation, the first time leaving my house, the one thing I trusted, and I wasn't talking to my family back then either, I was like, how did they let this happen to me? Out the window was the sun and the moon. Because if you've been in an acute psych unit, you're only allowed out in a funny courtyard. So I would treasure my time. I am vegan. I am too old to get overstimulated more than once a week. Do you only do organic veggies? So I healed with non-organic food. I couldn't afford it or probably put together that I needed it. I healed in 6 weeks on non-organic food. My theory is if I could get raw foods to get me well, because I felt good just having it for a few days, imagine what I could do. Within 2 months, I think 2 or 3 months, I created a website. Within 3 months, I'm posting on Instagram. I was going to get a job and pay for the veggies I want. So now my free time is spent at a farmer's market, but I had to be well enough to make money to do that. So if you go raw, you do what you can. I swear anything that's been kissed by the sun, like pure sun food, it's like, we're leaving this now. We are doing the spoon as we get to the bottom. Anything kissed by the sun, it seems to help us heal. It's like connecting back to who we are. Like, if it can save me from where I was, it can do wonders for everybody. Like, no one thought I was going to even live. One of my good friends posted on her story. My close friend said, I literally was waiting for the call to bury Sky multiple times. Like, literally waiting for the call. God had plans. I had plans. Not bad for a 30-year-old. I don't know what that means. This salad looks amazing. Can you please tell me the ingredients? I will, but I will post them later too. I made them in the video before, so you can go watch that, but there's greens, lots of greens, cruciferous. You pick the cruciferous, but I did purple cabbage, and I did Brussels sprouts. I did carrot noodles and cucumber noodles. I did a little bruschetta mix on top, which was garlic, tomato, onion, basil, and lemon that marinated while I made the salad. Lots of fresh ginger. There should be turmeric in there, like lots of grated ginger, mushrooms, coriander, apple cider vinegar, lemon, orange juice, paprika, turmeric, salt, and pepper. Avocado as well as the dressing. Hey Louie, I'm good, how are you? Oh my God, I think everyone was so happy I got well. They were so happy. It was so, as I got well, I healed me and my relationship with my family and my sister, and I lost my hair, most of my hair. So I just ate fruits for breakfast. Yay! Good for you, so. What fruits did you eat? I think I'm getting full tonight. Maybe I overstacked this salad tonight. Or more than likely, I'll probably go clean up and then I will go back to it. Round 2. You know what I forgot to put tonight? Oh, you know what else in here? Walnuts and pumpkin seeds and flax seeds and hemp seeds. Sumac. We put it all in. Put whatever you like in. The more the better. Chili. The more flavors, I feel like the more you stay raw. And you feel good. Oh, flaxseed oil. Omega-3s. I wonder I'm full. I feel like I put extra in tonight. You know. Pretty good effort though. Definitely did better yesterday, but we'll see. I'm sick. Oh no, what's wrong, Louie? We're all healing here. This is the healing group. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I also think that there's still parts, because this bit around the front is all still growing out. So there's these bits here, and it'll be nice when they get long and even, and I'll chop it off. This is just like the hairdresser's like, can't I chop it? I'm like, no, there'll be no hair chopping. I had to, like, I've literally, this is my blood, sweat and tears. No, it isn't really. It's a growth of passion, but it came off, like, I'm very present for when you've lost your hair. It's like, well, I'd lost my identity. It made sense that I lost my hair as well. I probably did drop my hair in the food, but that's good. It's long hair. My hair is down to your butt. Good for you. I love long hair. Me too. It's so feminine. I love getting into my feminine energy. I feel like I healed in my masculine energy. I am getting full. I am excited to get a mango tomorrow though. I was going through a really bad eczema outbreak. It didn't go away until I juice fasted for a week and ate raw for weeks. Realized how little doctors know of health. I love stories like that. That's amazing. Good for you. I bet you felt amazing. I really bet you felt amazing. I felt really good on juices, but I must say the best I ever felt was when I had just had grapes. But then it's until I didn't feel good. I just don't think it's sustainable. Yeah, it felt good to be that light, but then it didn't. This feels sustainable. This is why I like eating this way, is having like balance in my life makes me feel much better. So yeah. So I think that's it, guys, for this live. What's tomorrow? Oh, I know what I have to do. I have the raw party coming up on Wednesday. I actually have to I'll make it on the live. I have to make these little wraps that I want. So let's make them. You can watch a raw chef at work. Let me just grab a tray. Let me just grab the tray that we need to use. Hope nothing tips over, because I've made this in a really crappy position. Oh, it's not too bad actually. I've got all my dehydrating stuff right underneath the lights. Oh, let's get this. Look. I was talking about this recipe on the weekend. So I've seen this viral recipe where people are making, what are they called? Wraps? Carrot wraps? Whoa, that's what I was scared of. Okay, let's move this out of the way. That's safer. Okay, so we are going to emulate making eggs with corn and chia seeds. That's I did want to put chives in them, but it doesn't have to have chives. Okay. We are making, I need to fix this up here. Okay. Let me just fix the lighting back up. All right. So these are going to be the wrap bases, so they're mini wraps. So we're going to put each of the wraps in here. Now, the first step is the carrots. I might put the grated carrot in here. So I need to learn, for some reason I've tried to grate before with my food processor and it doesn't seem to like take, so we're going to hand grate today. We'll see how many we need. Oh, there's my water bottle. I know you guys are going to come at me about plastic water bottles, but the latest research says there's more microplastics and heavy metals in glass bottles. Maybe not all of them, but anyway, this is what we got. How many are you making? Well, I aim to make 4, so, but they're mini wraps. If you've seen on TikTok and Instagram, everyone's making carrot wraps with grated carrot, eggs. You put them together, you grate the carrot, mix the eggs and put them into like, well, you put them into a fry pan. We are going to grate the carrots, mix them with a mock egg, which for me in my brain is corn and chia seeds. Yes, the dehydrator, probably overnight. And then my imagination is saying do like beetroot and cashew noodles on top, and then maybe drizzle a sauce, because we're doing experimental recipes. So this is going to be like a bright carrot with bright pink, and then maybe a sweet chili drizzle. I do like a chili drizzle. Unless you guys can come up with a different sauce I can make for the top. And technically I would never eat now that extravagant, but this is a party, guys. We got to make the fancy food for the fancy parties. Okay. But like, I know a lot of people go, oh, raw veganism is so much work, but like, what else are you guys doing? Like, otherwise, if I'm not doing this, I'd be sitting in front of a television. And I can tell you right now, making yummy food to have at a party that benefits my health is what I started to think about when I was like in my dark night of the soul. Like, what have I been doing? Why wasn't I spending any, no, not that I could really get up, but it's a good idea. I might get a glass bowl so you guys can watch. Like, if you have any energy, what people are like, you know, I ate this because I had cravings, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, you're saying that in the same breath. What you should be doing with yourself is making food that keeps you well and on track. And for me, this will do it. All right, we're hand grating carrots, because I just, every time I try and do it in the food processor, it ain't working, kids. It ain't working. That's how I wash my vegetables. I've never had problems with the actual outside of vegetables. Okay. Ooh, what's that? So here. We'll see. I'm going to eyeball it. I would say like each one is about a cup. So it's like 4 cups we probably got to get out of that. I don't even have TikTok or Instagram. We are doing well. Be back. Question, is it a party? Why are only making 4? Oh, well, it's a party online. So I don't even think I'll eat 4. Sorry, I should reiterate. I do monthly raw parties online and you're all invited. There's about 10 influencers which come together for this raw party, like Raw Chef Yin, Alyssa from Raw Food Romance, me, Roarskye. Who else comes? Daniel, I don't know, Daniel, I think he's left me a message. I think he might come. You've got, I'm having a mental block here. Miranda, you've got Kiko, you've got, yeah, so we all come together online. You guys can watch it on YouTube live. So we have this streaming party where each of us brings a recipe for a theme. So this month is experimental raw recipes. So Try making something that is like out of your comfort zone that you wouldn't usually make, and bring it to the party. So it's online, so each person will bring a different recipe and talk about it and share it, and we all talk about different foods. It's a great time for you guys to join, because I'll tell you what, when you have people like Lissa and Raw Chef Yin and Daniel and myself all together, the amount of knowledge that I learn. And then we also, tomorrow night at this time or about this time, I have the Europe Raw Food Party. So Europe, Australia, Japan, Australia, Asia, and America can meet up. And then I have to swing it around and have Europe, Australia, and Asia can meet up. So tomorrow night I have a mocktail party with Raw Europe party. So we all bring a mocktail. Mine, I think, will be my princess mocktail, which is watermelon, raspberries, strawberries, and coconut water. I think that's the one I'm going to bring. And then I wake up in that Wednesday morning. So the times are all different. So that will be the morning for Europe. So at CST time, it's 11 a.m. if you want to join the Europe crew. If you want to watch the American party, it will be, I think, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. My brain works in different, I have to always think about different time zones. But this one is for the Raw party, the original Raw Americas party. For the sauce, tahini would be good, but the reason I didn't want to do tahini is I've already got cashew. So we're doing a layer of carrots grated with corn. The next layer would be kelp noodles with cashew and beetroot dressing, and then that's the fat. And so if you put a fat on fat, it'll be like, ooh. So that's why I was thinking of doing a lighter dressing of like a drizzle of a sweet chili sauce. So for sauce, try tahini. Oh, I didn't even read the rest. Coconut aminos and lemon and maple syrup. Oh, that might even be nice. That does sound nice. What if you have soy sauce, a little bit of fish sauce? Well, I'm vegan. I'm not going to have fish sauce. So everyone's sending me towards the soy sauce here. I think you're right. I use namashoyu, which is an unpasteurized raw sauce. If you want to eat a food, I promise you they've made it raw. But fair warning, you feel better when you eat fresh stuff. Like all the other stuff is like sauces and dressings all like at a party. Like the majority of time, just like the rest of the world, you want to be eating as healthy or simple. Well, I don't know if my salad's simple. It feels simple. I love it. So yeah, guys, we are here grating. We are on Great Street. I need to figure out my food processor. But hey, I didn't go to the gym today. I did run. I need a hairband. I feel like hair is going to get in this, and that is just not very nice. It's so, when you have lost everything, like including your hair, you have so much gratitude for just being able to grate a carrot. I couldn't even butter my toast, tie my shoes, and now I'll have hair. Now I've got hair and I'm grating carrots and woo, having parties, living the high life. High life with a high pony. Okay. Yes, no, I'm vegan. That's all right. I think Raw Chef Yin, her book is amazing. She's from Malaysia. She just did a Chinese takeaway book. I'm pretty sure. I know she did a mushroom sauce. I think there's a fish sauce in there. Okay, now all I needed was the hair back. That's all it was missing, guys. See, I have lots of energy. For those asking if avocados have energy and salad, life is energy. What is it, 5 o'clock? I've been going all day, podcasts and clients and swimming and more lives and salad making. And I couldn't even get out of bed. All of you can do this. Or do whatever you want. This is obviously, I'm playing catch up maybe. But you guys can have all the energy to do what you like. What I'll do for you guys, so you know what the recipe is, because I know I'll be asked, we'll do it so we know. We'll do it so we know what's going on. Who needs therapy? I can just grate carrots. Grating carrots is my therapy. Okay. So we've got this bowl, I'm assuming each carrot is about a cup. Yeah, it's a cup. And I'm going to assume each, well, we can have a look. Let's see. Well, that's a little bit extra. So it's not even, each one of those isn't even a cup, but we can still do a cup. And we do a spare one in case we mess one up, right? It's probably 3 cups of carrot, to be honest. 3 stuffed cups of carrot it will be. So we'll get the big boy, the big carrots. I'm so happy for you and so glad you get to tell your story, man. Yes, I am so grateful too. I think that's why I go live so much, because it helps me so much to tell it. Like I think things can fester in the dark, right? You want them to shine in the light. And then when I share it, other people who resonate with it might try this or try something similar or know that they can get well. It doesn't have to be hell forever. Like if my brain, especially my body and brain, can repair from that, like we all can. And we can have yummy food like this. I think I only have the patience to grate 3 cups. I will find out how to do it. But this, at least, I always think hand grating makes a nicer grate. Oh, also those, my Amazon storefront, which I don't think I linked again. I always forget to link it. But they're by Bright Kitchen. You can get them on Amazon. I always get asked about that when I make wraps, mini wraps. It does give me a workout. Plus, as I said, guys, what else? Like, you guys are listening to me on a podcast and learning. We don't want to be like letting our brain rot. I think this might even be more than, this might be like a cup and a half. We've really got to put it in there. So I think only 3 cups. I think I'd be really overdoing it with 4. Because that was a real big one. No, this is probably going to be, keep going. It's so funny because when I see lives and I see someone's like, because when I see reels, including the reels I create, this is probably, when I see them, like they're like, yeah, I used grated carrot. I'm like, but the grating the carrot can take some time. So do factor that in when you make a recipe. You can buy pre-grated carrots. See, when I go to Woolworths, they have pre-made zucchini noodles and pre-made carrot noodles. Do they taste as good as homemade? No, but did it keep me raw at the start? Yes. Because at the start, it can be, when I got my first food processor, or even I think I mashed up veggies in a bowl as a dressing. But I did, when COVID finished, so about 4 or 5 months in, I got a food processor of being raw. And I remember, like, it was a lot for me to get up and make, well, I was up a lot as well, but to put together these sauces. So at the start, it was easy to just buy from Woolworths pre-made veggie packs. I haven't done it in years, but I think when you first go raw, you have to use all the hacks you can get. Because you don't want to go, because it might be stopped at grating. Or making carrot noodles. You might be like, it's all too much, but is it too much to put like 5 things in a blender? No, you can do that. So then add that with some chopped coriander on top and you've got a pasta dish. It's really not that hard. I think we find reasons not to be well, and if we find that, we've got more work to do on ourselves. Okay, yeah, we didn't need that much. So so then we got 2 cups. And we're going to do 3. I mean, I'm here complaining, but it's not actually taking that long. What, 5 minutes? Not long at all. And this is probably the only thing I don't like doing is grating. I have a zoodle maker. I don't mind using carrot noodles. I'm just not a fan of when I've made of grating, that's all. But we all have our things we avoid. Okay, and just one more. Maybe that one. I might use that in a sauce maybe. I always use these things later. Just rinse this out. Repurpose them. All the little stubs. I actually am grateful I had the flaxseed oil tonight, because it's what happens is I want the effects of the hormone replacement in. I get too much joint pain, stiffness, I age without it, but it seems I really need the omega-3s, which makes sense. Okay. In fact, I don't even think we need this whole carrot. The fun part happens after this. Well, we've actually, you know what's in my head, I was dreading doing this, is I've also got to take the corn off the cob, but that doesn't take long. They're like the two things I don't like doing. The rest I find all easy, and I've created them in one recipe. Anyway, you guys are here. Keep me company. I think that's maybe a little bit more. And then we've got 3 cups. Okay, there we go. Okay, 3 cups of carrot. Yeah, see, like making my salad, I absolutely love that. I think I get things in my head. All right, that's it for that. Let me just move these carrot bits to the side. I'm going to make something with carrots during the week because I got all butts of it. Let me just rinse this off and we will do the corn. I'll show you a trick when you take the corn off the kernel. You don't even really use this. And my dishwasher's broken. They're supposed to replace it, I think, tomorrow. They broke it when they were trying to install the washing machine, which they couldn't do. So I don't have a washing machine or a dishwasher. So that'll be fun. Anyway, all right. We don't need those extra carrots, and we just want to clean up some of this. I want a clean workspace. And I'll just rinse this so we can measure how much corn we use. It's growing on me using you know what I could do is I have some dried mushrooms up there. I could rehydrate the mushroom and do that with some tamari and tahini and drizzle that over, but that's getting really rich, isn't it? I guess it's a party, so we can be rich. Okay, can anyone enlighten me regarding the dish she's cooking? Yes, I am making viral carrot wraps, but raw vegan. Okay, when we make, so I'm making a raw vegan egg to replace the egg that they're using in this viral wrap. What I like to do with corn is, because when you chop it, it flings, is my beetroot in here to do the beetroot part of it tomorrow. I'll start with 2. These seem massive, these cobs, but I don't think they are massive. It's just there's a lot of green on them. So we are making egg out of corn and chia seeds, if all goes to plan. Well, they are big corns, I think. I don't know. I actually don't think there is anything length I wouldn't go to be not be well. As in, like, because you guys have heard how sick I was. Like, doing this seems every day like a walk in the park instead of putting up with doctors and pains and living on the street and living in the bush and being disconnected from your family, having surgeries. Like what, I think it's just like normal that you would do this and then want to share and have others not feel so sick. Yeah. And by the way, really fresh corn, like if you get it straight off, like freshly picked, it's as sweet as what you know with butter. It gets starchier the longer it's off, being picked, but I swear raw corn is amazing. Oh there, look at me, I'm a pro. Look at me. Okay. And remember, I never cooked. I had people cook for me until I was 40 and I'm up here doing this. So you guys can do it. You can make your raw wraps. And if you don't have a dehydrator, you use your oven, set it to the lowest temperature, leave the door ajar and put it in. And whatever the time is that someone's recommended for making the food, ignore that. It's going to be very quick. Like just say I say it's 8 hours to make these wraps, like you leave it in the dehydrator and it dries over 8 hours. If you're doing it in an oven, you have to stay home with your oven on and with the door ajar, and it will take like 3 hours or something. I don't know how long it will take, but not long. Everyone's oven is going to be different, but have a look. I built this kitchen, this is how much confidence I have, built this kitchen without an oven. Yes, and you're probably going to ask, you know, how did you get money to build a kitchen, which is a fair question. Because I do make money now, a good amount of money, or a happy amount of money. Let's say like, I'll say happy amount. But my grandmother passed, my grandmother was my biggest advocate for me the whole time I was sick. She never gave up on me. Never, never. And as soon as I got well, she passed. Mum said she reckoned she knew I was now well and she could leave. But I got some inheritance, which I have invested in my business. I invested in this, and I invest traveling with Jillian. But besides that, the rest of my mortgage and all of that, and most of the stuff I buy, I pay with the money I make. But if anyone wanted to know, is that worked out nicely. Not nice. It sounds terrible, but like I don't know. I think things happen. Divine timing, right? So anyway, this is how I do corn. You need a high bowl because it spits everywhere. I'm Australian. South African, British, no, I'm Australian. You guessed everything but Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Okay. My God, there's like corn juice everywhere. Actually, I enjoy doing this. What am I saying? Yeah, grating the carrot was a bit annoying, but I love doing this. This is actually fun. I love making my salads. I think my pet peeve is that my what's-his-name doesn't work. This is fun. It's like being a kid, just chopping stuff up. All right. I'm actually thinking we may do 3 corn. Oh, no, because carrot has moisture in it. Can you make a tutorial video on making a double chocolate latte, macchiato, triple foam, ice glazed Colombian coffee with a bendy straw, please? I most certainly can, but I won't. Of course I could do that, but I won't do that. I don't even have coffee. Well, not now. I tried it when I had broke my leg and it did not go well. So just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Why don't you make your coffee? We are over here saving lives with food. We're making corn. Yeah, that's plenty. Okay. My God, so when I first got well and I started doing this raw vegan thing and I got this knife off one of my family friends, I'd come off alcohol and cigarettes and pain medication and psych drugs and all this. I put this massive knife through my thumb till it went through and hit the nail, and I couldn't take anything for it. And I'd been obviously, like, if I was in pain, I didn't stay in pain very long most of my life. And all that was in front of me was a big thumb of turmeric, and I just started chewing it. The pain completely went, and every time I took it out of my mouth, the pain came back. I didn't know whether that was because it tasted so bad and was taking my mind off it. But either way, this thumb, I kept going, and anyway, eventually it wasn't healing properly. And the pharmacist said I should have gone straight to the hospital because they needed to tape it closed or something, or glue it. Anyway, I'm just telling you that because like turmeric was amazing. So let's check out how much corn I just got off. So I've got, oh, this is a bit, I made some milk, I think, this morning. It's a bit foggy, but that's all right. So we've got 1 cup of corn, and I think this is going to be 2 cups. So each, I think, each ear of corn is like 1 cup. It's the same as the carrots are like 1 cup. God made his veggies in a cup. So, oh, thank you. Sim up some shrooms, corn juice, saffron, almond milk. Wow, I will do that. That actually sounds good. Let me take a screenshot of that so I remember. Is this? There we go. That does sound good. Okay, now we are going to blend this. This is going to be egg. We will put chia in it, but I want to blend this into like a cream to go into this to make our wrap. Okay, so let me blend this first. It's getting a bit dark in here. All right, let's do this. I'm thinking I should add a little bit of water to this, but we'll see. Yeah, we're going to need to add some water to this to get it to blend. So, because you want measurements, I will do, oh gosh, now I've lost my cup. Where'd the cup go? Ah, here. Let's see how much water we put in. That was 3/4. That was 3/4 of a cup of water. So this is 3 cups of carrot, 2 cups of corn, 3/4 of a cup of water. And this is like liquid, which we want. Seeing you're high on omega-3, veg and fruit, what do you focus on and what do you try to avoid? Okay, so as for what I focus on, I was focusing on low histamine foods and high omega-3 being chia and flaxseed and flax oil. But I was finding that having all that because I was doing low histamine. And I think it's different if you don't do low histamine because you're having tomatoes and avocados and you're getting a lot of hydration. I know you can drink it and juice it like I was, but it's not the same as eating it. So if you go back and watch the recipe before on the live that started before, and this I made, oh yum, it's making me hungry again. I made this salad, and this is predominantly what I eat. And a lot of this is fresh. It does have flax oil in it, apple cider vinegar, paprika, turmeric. This is the dressing, has walnuts. But I say eat what you're called to. If you want to know how I stop my mast cell activation, in the description is a folder, what I was eating in a day. I did that for a month and I had no mast cell activation symptoms. And it's based off Dr. Brooke Goldner's protocol. I just adjusted it a bit. Okay, we are now going to make an egg with this. Okay, now I'm going to do, I think it's going to be 2. I'm wondering, so I'm going to start blending 1 tablespoon, right? And I'll see the consistency. But I think I will do 2. I'll do 2 to be safe. So we're going to do 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. Now we're going to blitz this up to make the egg, which we're going to put in this, which will, if everyone's been watching, even on YouTube, there's viral carrot wraps. We're making them raw for my raw party, which will be live and you can watch online. Okay, so the chia goes in. Oh. Okay, this is my mock egg. See how it's kind of like got a gelatinous, that was only the seeds. So if you guys look, see how you can see that. It's like if you put eggs in there and blended it, right? Now we're gonna put it over this and then into my little wrap tray. Sorry, that's only messy because we're measuring. How much? So I have said as we're going along, I've said this is 3 cups of carrots, this is 2 cups of corn, 2 tablespoons of chia, and 3/4 of a cup of, I will probably write this up and do a reel, but one at a time. There's too many recipes going through my head right now. So what we're going to do is put this, there is a hair, guys. I think it's a hair from the corn actually. Okay, so we're going to put this through. Let me see what that looks like, because this is the binder. So we're just going to stir this through. So anyone that comes to the party, when you see the finished product, you'll be like, I watched her make that. I think I made the perfect amount here. If you ask me how I learned how to make the perfect amount in recipes, I don't know. I think because I make everything from scratch, you just know. See how it's like sticking together? That's what we want. It'll be super helpful to explain the caloric value. It would be, but what I can do, and thank you for the money, that's so kind of you. What I can do is when I make this, that's something my brain doesn't know right now, is I can put the caloric amounts on the recipe for you. Because it's more about intuitive eating as well. So this I think's worked really well. This is exactly what we want. I did want to put some chives in it, but we don't have chives. We could put some leek, I guess, but I just think this. I'm simple person. Yeah, this is perfect. I've got a little bit left, I think. Yep. So this is how it looks online, where they use the binder. The only fat in this really that you're going to worry about is the 2 tablespoons of chia. So I think 8 tablespoons of chia is about 640 calories or something. So that's 8. So we're saying here it's about 80 calories, 160, maybe 200 calories for the chia seeds. And the rest is just like not that much because it's corn and carrot. This is perfect, guys. Look, that's what we wanted. Ask for dollars to start your own live. Yes, definitely start your own live. I'm here just wanting to help people. And you guys are helping me too. I always say that. You guys help me by being my therapists. Okay, so I do think that this is going to need a little bit of salt, just for some flavor. You can put anything you want in here, some onion powder, garlic powder, but I like to do things basic. So just a little bit of salt and maybe some pepper, just to enhance the flavor. And the only other thing I would put in here is some chives. So what we're now going to do is the wraps. Now, as I said, also, please know you don't need this. You can just, underneath is just a tray, or you can use a baking tray that's lined with some parchment paper. And they're doing online, when they cook these, they're doing them in the fry pan. So you can just make 4. But it's just, I have these, trust me, I do as much as I can without, because I like to do just easy. So what we're going to do is put this in here. We'll start splitting it up. And the chia is thickening as we do this. So there's chia seeds, flax as well, but I find chia is like your real, you can get away with not needing egg. Not that I would eat egg, but it's a good egg replacement. Like especially when I first started as a raw vegan, I used to think of veggies as replacements. So carrot was like my bread. If I wanted something with like bread, I would be like, well, carrot is going to be now my bread. And like it's thicker, it's like still sweet, like a carbohydrate. And like I would have it with like dipped in avocado and stuff. So let me bring this back here so you guys can see. Okay. Let's see. This is going to be the perfect amount again. I think it's just I learned sizes over time. There was no skill set whatsoever, as in, yeah, perfect. This looks really good. I will take my camera. Oh, I can't. Can I? Yeah, I can take photos with that camera still. Oh, it's okay. I can do that after. I can pull them out of the dehydrator and do that. So the only one is this one. Maybe we are a little bit. Move this across here. Well, put that there. This one across there. No, that's perfect. Perfect amounts. So I will write this up for you guys, but I will do it with the others because there's a whole component. I'm making also beetroot and cashew noodles. And I won't be doing that until my Wednesday morning. And I don't know whether I'll have time to get on and live and do it. Probably will. I get up early because I'll do that straight before the live. So these I want ready a little earlier because the party is Tuesday night for the US, Wednesday morning for Australians. And I want these ready. Yeah, these turn out perfect. I am quite lucky. Usually my recipes do turn out quite good. I don't know how it happens. It just does. I like food. They're not lined or anything, like you don't have to put oil in it. I'm actually wondering, do we want to get a spatula and just like spatula these out a little bit? Thanks, Anu Deep. Okay, so the best I'm going to tell you this. If you become raw vegan, you don't need tools straight away, okay? Is learn how to be a raw vegan. But if you want to know what tools I have, I invested in the best because like I don't have an oven or stovetop. So for a blender, I love Vitamix. Like I have found, and you don't even have to get the best. You can get a lot of people, I think I wish I got the older model because it's smaller. As for dehydrator, it's on my Amazon storefront, which I will put the Amazon storefront in after this. My blender is in there. I don't think my juicer is, it might be, but the dehydrator is by Excalibur. If I was going to do this all over again, I'd do it exactly the same as not buy it. Well, I bought one and it blew up. I bought a food processor from Target and all food flew out the side of it because it's raw food. Is when you want to get stuff, because these are your stovetop and your oven. So, and it doesn't matter which one. I have a 9 tray or a 10 tray, but you can get a 3 tray. I think it's not 3 tray, a 4 tray. Yeah, that's better. I'm glad I did this. It needs to be like put in there, but that's all setting nicely. I'm actually thinking of bringing my dehydrator across so you guys can see it as I do this, but at the moment it's under one of the lights. Okay, let me show you. So all that is 3 cups of 3 cups of grated carrot, 2 cups of corn, corn kernels, are then put into the blender, blended up with 3/4 of a cup of water. Then once that's all blended well, you put 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and then you blend that up again until smooth, and then you mix the egg mix with the carrots with some salt and pepper, and once that's combined, you can just make 4 pancakes. You can use a tray, which is on my Amazon storefront, which I will link, and I will link when I write up the recipe. But that's it. So show the dehydrator. Okay, hang on a second. I'll show you the dehydrator. Thank you for the money as well. That's really kind of you. Let me see if I can show you. It's not very clean over this side. Well, it still is clean, but let me, well, here. I've got celery going on top of it. Can you see it? There. So that's it, just like this. Let me move the celery. I will move this over so it's more accessible during lives. But it was supposed to go, oh, you can't really see. It was supposed to go underneath here. And then I worked out I needed ventilation because it's a dehydrator. It's not like you can just put it in a shelf. Everything was getting ruined in there. So, can you see here? There. All right. So, what you do with the dehydrator, you turn it on. This is Excalibur, and they are more expensive. Even if you can get a second-hand one or a smaller one. You turn this up to, I always go to 115, which is I think 42 degrees Celsius, but 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we turn the timer on. I go full pelt because then when I pull it out, I minus it from, because the full pelt. The timer on this, some of them don't have timers. I paid extra to get timer. The timer goes up to 48, so I always turn it up to 48. So when I push go, I know when I take it out or flip them, I just take it away from 48. So this is Excalibur. So then this has like a liner in it, which I think are really helpful, but I just push start and you'll hear that, definitely hear that. And then we just pop that in. And then we put this on and then we're good to go. What I will say about that is usually what I do in about 3 to 4 hours, as soon as those things are firm enough to flip, I tend to flip them and take away the, what is it called? A mold. I try and get them on that airy dehydrator tray as soon as I can. So, how many grams of protein are in there? I don't know. I think in 2 tablespoons, I don't know, you'll have to wait till the whole meal. There would be a fair amount because I know there is some in kelp noodles, cashews, I don't know. I don't know. Also, just know you eat a lot more when you eat raw food. I don't get it. Why eat a fresh carrot? Not just eat a fresh carrot. Oh my God, I do. I did eat a fresh carrot, but then it's just like, hang on a sec, why not eat a fresh carrot? Hello, why are all these people going viral on the internet, having thousands of views, making this recipe when it's not raw? Just because I'm a raw vegan doesn't mean I don't want to experience what all these viral recipes are. I just make them raw, and then I don't get sick. We've already been on this live and heard what I've been through. And I think everyone who heard my story understands why I eat this way. But also I'm having a raw party. So I'm gonna make those into a wrap. So, oh, thank you again. You're eating that salad you started yesterday. No, this isn't from yesterday. Or maybe it was yesterday for you. This was earlier. It's good. It's only 6 o'clock here. Oh, yeah, that was a walnut. Salads at You wouldn't know that that's not cooked, to be honest. Like, the texture over time, like that's what cooked food does, it all wilts. But I always feel energized instead of being in a bed. Can we replace the corn with buckwheat? Not really. I find buckwheat won't have the flexibility. It might, but usually buckwheat goes hard, whereas I find corn and add chia and you get flexibility. If you don't want to use the corn, you could probably do, could say zucchini, but yellow bell pepper, much less water, and chia seeds. But you're probably not going to need much water. And you probably need more bell pepper. I'm vegan, raw vegan. I do have a recipe book, but I give out a lot of these recipes for free. So there's two options here. If you go onto my Reels page, you'll see a whole lot of recipes, like 4-ingredient donut, and you just comment donut. But underneath, people have commented and already the recipe's under there. 2-ingredient wrap, burger recipe, protein noodles. Or if you want all the recipes, not all those recipes, I haven't put them in a book yet. If you want to get my ebooks, they're over at roarskye.com. So roarskye.com. There's 3 books over there now, I think. I do favorites, classics, and dinners. Favorites is my first year being raw, and a lot of that is just fruit and vegetables. The classics one is 2 or 3 years raw, and that's like fruit and vegetables. And then there's some nuts and seeds in the dinners one. Dinners one is the newest one. I had GERD. So thanks for the money. I had GERD. I have no stomach. So a doctor would say nuts, seeds, and salad is the worst person for something with GERD. Thanks, Alex. There's 200 free recipes there as well. But I stopped getting GERD when I ate a lot of greens. This salad stopped my GERD. So did eating veggies going raw stopped my GERD. My gut healed. I just had to be careful. If I have too much fruit, I seem to get candida. So, but I haven't, here you go, there's nothing I haven't seen this heal. Even Dr. Morse gets people eating just fruit with, who are paraplegic, moving limbs. I just don't think fruit's sustainable. I think this is more sustainable. All that food, I don't have a stomach. I've already eaten most of this. It's pretty much water. Well, I mean, it's salad, right? It's not like it's like hard for it to break down, but this is pretty much all I eat all day. Like a massive salad over hours, and then I might have some fruit tonight. I use a big spoon. But this is actually easier to digest now that it's been sitting there in the apple cider vinegar. Well, when you say runner, I used to run every day, 5 kilometers a day, plus do Pilates. I've pulled back a lot, and I did 4 kilometers today. Tomorrow I'll do Pilates. I'm in my feminine energy now. I feel like I was going, as my memory came back, I was like trying to use natural drugs, meaning like excessive running, excessive Pilates, and never sitting still. Like I feel like my ADHD is literally like a trauma block. Keep busy enough, you never have to process things. But as I sat with what I needed to, I worked out I don't want to run as much. So you need to eat a cheeseburger. Haven't we all been down this path? What happened to me when I ate that way? No, dude. We don't want me in hospital again. We don't want me having organs removed. We don't want me in psych units. We don't want the police looking for me in the forest. We don't want me homeless. We don't want me disconnected from my family. And that to me is what a cheeseburger equals. So there's like absolutely nothing better than eating this way. Eat with hands to enhance sensory experience. So I used to do that. So when I, not just enhance sensory experience, but when you eat with your, there was something about learning, when you've been around doctors as long as I have, and surgeons, and you've studied, and you've been to a private school, and you think everything is in science, and then you discover that the raw foods work, and sunlight works, and getting in the ocean, you have to get outside and ground. You have to get bare feet on the earth. I was like, how much better am I going to feel with wooden chopsticks? What about if I eat it with my hands? It didn't feel as good as I thought. I think apes or humans or whatever have always used some sort of tool. So when this kind of soaks, you can literally get it with bamboo chopsticks, which means you eat slower, which is amazing. But you must practice meditation and smoke or weed. No, I don't do drugs. Drugs are not going to help. In fact, when I was in psychiatric units, the people who were the most paranoid schizophrenics, okay, there's two types. There's people who have been on ice, who are literally talking to, you could say themselves, but obviously what they're seeing we can't see. And then there's people who have schizophrenic induced by marijuana. And that is at all ages. And here's another story. So when I first I'd been in a room for like 15 years sick, having surgeries, going to hospitals or being in a bed. Then I'm thrown in that psych unit, right? I had no friends. I didn't even have a mobile. I finally got a mobile phone because I had money not spent from the government. So I had, I think, about $10,000. I got a mobile phone and the first number, so I couldn't read things in there. This wasn't the same as FND, or it might have been. Like I'm literally like lost my memory, dissociated, couldn't read things. I couldn't remember things. And there was this guy who helped me in there. And he had marijuana-induced schizophrenia, and no one would take him seriously. They wouldn't let me out of the place, and they kept not letting him stay in there, which is very common for psych units. You have to be very, very sick to be scheduled. You have to be very, very sick to stay a night in an acute psychiatric ward, let alone be scheduled for months. So anyway, I put his number in my phone. It was only him. When I would get home leave, I would only talk to him. He was the only person that I had connected with in years. I had nobody, and he took his own life. I then had to go and sit next to him with a rope mark around his neck next to his machine while I was having surgeries. So I'm in a psych hospital, would leave the psych hospital to go and have surgery on my hip, on my pelvis, and then go and visit him and his family who knew he sent the suicide letter to me. I swear, you think things can be dark, and then like my life is like, I don't know. So yeah, basically where I was going with that, he was very young, a lot younger than me, like 10 years younger than me, and he did that because he smoked marijuana and had schizophrenia from it. So, and once it turns on, it doesn't usually turn off. So it seems like these people are just like doing it, not excessively either, just after work to relax or whatever. And then once it switches you over into where they talk about all these voices they constantly hear, non-stop voices. And he couldn't live with it. So there's a reason not to do that. But I never liked marijuana anyway, so it didn't make me feel good. All right, guys, I feel like we've done a lot today. I'll need to clean up and put my feet up. And yeah, so I will make, I know what I have to do. So tomorrow, this time tomorrow night, well, in 40 minutes time tomorrow night is the Raw Vegan Europe party. So we all come together, we do a live, and we are bringing mocktails. And you guys are welcome to join. And in the morning, I'm interviewing a raw vegan swimsuit model called Caitlin Lespas. Yeah. So that's what's going on. All right, bye guys. I'm in Australia, so I'm off to like wind down for the night. Thanks everybody. If Creative Heart's still there, thank you so much for modding. You're amazing. And thank you for the money people have sent me. I appreciate you, and I hope you, it's a new dip. I hope you find your health with this, and I will share these at the party that I made tonight.